full of mindfulness that we have right now is ever evolving, and we have to allow people to grow past their mistakes and past their moments of evolving, so to speak. So I don't know where the lambs are with this. Have you guys forgiven Sandy? I will say this. I don't necessarily think that I have anything too crazy in my social media, but if I did become famous, I would probably be clenching my butt cheeks very tight at the mere thought of what you guys could dig up in my social media past. All right, last but not least, did you guys hear this story about, it's come out this week that Tiffany Haddish and Common, the rapper, actor, and political activist are in fact dating. Tiffany Haddish confirmed not only are they dating, but they went out and got tested for everything, and they are in fact doing the Mountain Dew. They are shooting from the do-rag. Well, it turns out that Philly songstress Jaguar Wright, who you will famously remember from the MTV Unplugged Jay-Z version of song Cry, and she was also down with the legendary Roots crew. And she also had her own single career as a solo artist. Philly songstress Jaguar Wright has made sexual assault allegations against Common and called the Roots fake. She said Erykah Badu is jealous of her and bit her style, and alleged that Jill Scott slept around back in the day, and much more. Yes, Philadelphia singer Jaguar Wright claims that she's been letting folks eat for 20 years, but now it's fucking over. The singer unleashed a bombshell of allegations in several social media videos about rappers and singers that kind of comprised the neo-soul movement. She said, and I quote, "The neo-soul movement was a fucking lie." She, whose real name is Jacqueline Wright, gained attention as a vocalist after meeting the Philly band The Roots. Now, the connection eventually led to some huge hits for her. Again, she sang in the 2001 MTV Unplugged for Jay-Z, and during her career, she released 2 solo albums, as a matter of fact, and toured with several artists, including The Roots. Now, she claims that her and Common had a run-in where he was sexually inappropriate and aggressive with her, which is interesting because you never necessarily see people in a particular way until, you hear about them in a particular way. So, yes, she is calling out everyone on their bullshit, and she's fed up because, she's tired of covering up the lies. Now, all of this came when there was the death of one of the founding members of the Roots crew, Malik B. Once that happened, Jaguar Wright got on social media to talk about her time with the Roots and what some stories were from that time. Now, it's not clear how Common and Jaguar ended up together. It appears as though they had some sort of friendship or something. However, Jaguar claims while she was in bed, she declined advances from Common. She decided to sleep with her clothes on, just in case, and said she knows to do this because she's a victim of rape and had been raped in the past. She said that Common sexually assaulted her while she was sleeping. And this is her recount of the story. The nigga trying to stick his dick in my mouth while I'm asleep. Lonnie fucking Lynn, Rashid, Common, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. That's why I stopped fucking with him, because nigga, if you going to try to stick your dick in my mouth while I'm asleep, there ain't nothing you won't do. Listen, I am not sure where this story kind of goes, or, the rabbit hole it goes down in terms of, is Common guilty of sexual assault? Is Jaguar right? Being honest about, the sexual exploits of Jill Scott? Is Erica? I don't know any of that stuff. And quite frankly, I don't care. What I do take seriously is anyone who says that they have been a victim of sexual assault. I take that very seriously. And, I'm praying for everyone involved. And I'm hoping that if justice has not been able to bring a level of calmness and resolve to the situation, that hopefully time will. All right, let's take a quick break and let's come back and set that table, boo. You heard? And we are back. And this week, as we've been exploring different stories about sorry and about apologizing, we just got through some headline news about Kanye West having to apologize to his wife for demeaning them and their marriage in public. Sorry it's a hard thing. It's a hard switch to flip. We all know that there are, complicated feelings that surround the thoughts of apologizing, whether it's because you have some issues surrounding it from childhood, or, people might have shamed you into feeling like, you've done something wrong, and have really distorted what sorry and apologizing looks like. And here's the thing. There are some positive outcomes to apologizing. Apologizing when you have kind of broken a rule, or done something that was kind of more of like a rule bender, that allows people to feel safe, as though they know that you understand the rules, and they also know that you may have done something wrong and aren't ashamed to acknowledge it. When you do something that is dehumanizing to someone, not acknowledging that can really have people kind of slip into this role of, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I am not worth the dignity that is placed with an apology. So being able to reestablish that dignity for someone is important. And not to mention, when it comes to, we just talked about Kanye and Kim, think about your own life. I talked about calling a friend this morning and just apologizing for being a bad friend. It doesn't take much a lot of times to repair relationships, or to kind of acknowledge to someone that you're careful to not hurt others. You don't take people's feelings lightly. Now, we can get into the myriad of reasons why apologies can be hard. You know, the guilt of the responsibility, the admission of the inadequacy of behavior, you know, feeling like something is inherently wrong with you for making a mistake. However, in the right circumstances, a well-delivered, appropriate apology will generally help avoid all the issues that serve to just act as another schism between you and people you love. You just have to know when and how to deliver it. So, when is it a good time to apologize? If you've done something that caused pain for another person, it's a good idea to apologize, especially if whatever you did was unintentional. See, apologizing can open up the doors of communication, which can allow you to reconnect with someone that you hurt. Sometimes it may involve creating new rules for you in this relationship, and a lot of times apologies are just the conduit to get there. Basically, if you care about the other person in the relationship and you can avoid offending behavior in the future, an apology is usually a good idea. Now, when is it a bad time to apologize? Well, it's bad to apologize when it's going to be predicated on empty promises or one-way ideas. One of the most important functions of an apology is that it affords the opportunity to reestablish trust. Resolving not to repeat offending behavior or to make whatever changes are possible is an important part of an apology. Now, don't make promises you can't keep, and try to make reasonable promises to avoid hurting the person in the future. But here's one basic understanding that you must know. We're human. We're going to fuck up. To forgive is human, or to err is human, and to forgive is divine. Now, if the other person is expecting some unreasonable or impossible as advice, perhaps your responsibility is more about acknowledging what you did and moving on. See, an insincere versus a sincere apology both have two ingredients. An insincere apology has damage and sometimes could be better than no apology than at all. Now, a sincere apology also has a key ingredient: love. If you want to maintain healthy, happy relationships with the people that you love, sincerity is key. Never apologize for what the other person is feeling, because you can't control that. Apologize for putting them in a place to feel that way. Apologize for the mistrust. Apologize for the mistake on your part. But remember, having shame is saying that you're wrong. Having guilt is saying that you did something wrong. It doesn't matter if the person is older or younger than you. It doesn't matter if you're the parent and they're the kid and you still have to apologize. Apologizing kind of equals the playing field. It makes it kind of we're all in the same gang kind of vibe. So if there's an apology that you've been holding out on because, well, you're just not sure if you can handle it, or if the other person can handle it, or what will come of it, or what if that apology doesn't mean that the situation turns out the way that I want. You got to let go of that. be the change that you want to see out there. Thank you guys so much for listening. God willing and the creek don't rise, we may or may not be here next week. I love you for listening. Peace.